Good evening, councillors and members in the gallery and those online. Welcome to the Ordinary Council meeting for September. I'll ask the General Manager to make announcements regarding the live streaming of this evening's meeting.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. The meeting is being live streamed and or recorded for on-demand viewing by Council's website. Attendance at the meeting is to be taken as consent by a person to their image and or voice being webcast. All speakers should refrain from making defamatory comments or releasing personal information about another individual without their consent. Council accepts no liability for any damage that may result from defamatory comments made by persons attending meetings. All liability will rest with the individual who made the comments. The meeting must not be recorded by others without prior written consent of the Council in accordance with the Council's Code of Meeting Practice. Councillors and staff are obligated to declare conflicts of interest as required under the Local Government Act 1993 and Council's adopted Code of Conduct. Councillors are reminded of their oath of office whereby they have declared and affirmed that they will undertake the duties of the office of council in the best interests of the people of Wentworth Shire and the Wentworth Shire Council, and that they will faithfully and impartially carry out the functions, powers, authorities and discretion vested in them under the Local Government Act 1993 and or other act to the best of their ability and judgment. Thank you.
Thank you, General Manager. I'll ask those who are able to stand for the prayer and acknowledgement. We acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we live and work and pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Councillors, let us in silence reflect upon our responsibilities to the community which we represent and all future generations, and faithfully and impartially carry out the functions, powers, authorities and discretions vested in us to the best of our skill and judgment. Thank you. Item 3, apologies and applications for leave of absence. Are there any applications for leave of absence? Thank you. Are there any disclosures of interest? Councillor Weeding.
Yes. Item 9.10, I've got a non-peculiarly less than significant interest. I know the applicant. I'm on a sporting club committee with him, but I do intend to be involved in the matter.
Yep. Sorry, which item was that?
9.10.
Thank you. Any further? Thank you, Councillor Weeding. We'll move to item 5, confirmation of the minutes. Would someone like to move? Thank you, Councillor Armstrong. Councillor Rodder. Any discussion? All those in favour of accepting the minutes? Thank you. That is carried. Councillor Crisp.
Mr Mayor, I wish to move that the Ordinary Council meeting be adjourned for the purposes of conducting a public forum. In addition to this motion, I also move B, that late agenda items 9.13, the review of internal committees, item 9.14, the review of external committees, and item 10.2, advocacy on a second bridge at Monac, and they be included as late agenda items, and C, that item 9.5 be moved to confidential, and the reason is commercial in confidence.
Thank you, Councillor Crisp. Seconded, Councillor Nichols. Anyone wish to speak against the motion? All those in favour of the motion? Thank you. That is carried unanimously. Okay, we have a public forum regarding item 10.1, and we have one speaker this evening for the motion. Mr Walker, would you like to address the council, probably from up the other end if that suits you? And when you're ready, I'll set a timer for 3 minutes.
Thank you. Yeah, Winkler and councillors. I speak tonight in support of the proposal and motion regarding the addition of a second smaller oval at the Carramar Drive Sporting Complex. The Gulgul Cricket Club and Football Club's current need for additional training and playing space is urgent and growing. Further need for a second oval at Carramar reflects the growing demand for recreational infrastructure in the rapidly expanding Baronga area. The proposed site has been shown to be feasible. While the Carramar Drive Sporting Complex expansion concept plan is an excellent long-term vision, the proposed addition of a smaller second oval offers a practical and cost-effective interim solution that addresses immediate needs. Engineering challenges are manageable but not prohibitive. While Council's response report to the motion outlines genuine concerns with stormwater infrastructure and surface levels, none of these are technically insurmountable. The location avoids the drainage overflow area in the northwest corner, ensuring appropriate placement from a planning and environmental perspective. Minimal pipe cover and stormwater grade issues are common in urban development and can be addressed through thoughtful surface level design, reinforced pipe material or protective sleeves. The duplication of the outfall pipeline is an upcoming project. Coordinating oval construction with this planned work could actually save costs and minimise future disruption. The existing stormwater basin can be redesigned or relocated to maintain flood mitigation functionality if required at all. There is very little surface pooling of water on any sporting ovals in the district, irrespective of rainfall totals. Fall on the oval can be designed to run away from the main oval or other infrastructure. Wet weather parking concerns are valid, but can be mitigated with gravel stabilisation. Traffic and parking adjustments required at the northern end of the reserve are manageable and should not present significant barriers. Concerns about clubroom and netball access can be addressed by upgrading existing tracks and incorporating into the broader site plan. While cut and fill may be required, earthworks are standard in sporting oval construction. With proper planning, batters can be integrated into the landscape and even used for spectator seating. Native vegetation clearing for public sporting infrastructure is often permitted with appropriate offset planting and environmental safeguards. Importantly, costings indicate the earthworks required for the second oval construction are $178,000, with a further $25,000 allocated for irrigation. These are reasonable and proportionate investments in the context of the community benefit this facility will deliver. The report raises valid logistical issues, but they should not be used as justification to oppose the second oval. Rather, they are challenges to be addressed through responsible design, collaborative infrastructure planning and community-centred development. It enhances the town's ability to attract tournaments, driving tourism and economic benefit. By proceeding with the second oval now, the council positions Carramar as a proactive, future-ready sporting and recreational hub. Given these points, I fully support the motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. Councillors, does anyone have any questions for David? Councillor Armstrong.
Yeah, thank you. I've got two or three, if that's all right. Thanks, Dave, for that. Does the cricket club and the footy club to a little bit lesser extent, because I know you only speak for the cricket club, but does the cricket club currently have enough space for training and playing with all of your teams and players?
No.
So follow on from that then, where are you currently, obviously you don't fit there, so where are you currently playing and training?
Play at number 3 oval in Mildura for match day because we don't have a second oval. Training is split over alternative nights of the week to accommodate everyone.
Thank you. And in your opinion, are the state of the current facilities without a short-term second oval solution locally, is that limiting the club's functioning and growth?
Yes, both clubs. Yeah, football club obviously have an expanding women's competition. They do not have a second oval. There are nights there where there are literally hundreds of people trying to train. So you have football club doing pre-season. We had another Miller club doing pre-season and training during their season there as well. We've got cricket trying to train, whacking cricket balls at speed around the oval with everyone running around. A smaller second oval would enable the juniors to be able to train in a safer environment, particularly the girls and women would have a separate area, and the same for the football club too, that the girls and the women have a separate oval for training, which would enhance their ability to play.
Perfect. Thanks, David.
Thanks, Mr. Watt, for that presentation. The Going on the diagram here, it would appear that the second oval proposed is significantly smaller than the existing
Correct.
oval. So will it be just for training purposes, or will it be used for competition purposes?
Competition purposes as well.
And if so, is it big enough for that purpose?
Yes. So for junior sports, it's absolutely big enough because most of them work on a smaller oval. For senior sports in cricket, the lower grades, thirds and fourths, actually use a smaller oval. For cricket, we don't actually have the boundaries going right out to the edge. We have a rope. It's significantly smaller, sort of 60 metres from the centre circle is the size of the oval. It is quite common for a second ground to be smaller, and so it works fine. Also, I guess I would probably add, it does not need to be a circle. And I think we talk about an oval as in everyone thinks it needs to be an oval and it needs to be circle. That's not necessarily the case. In the cities, lots of grounds are not oval in shape because of urban development that they're pushing up against. So you can construct the shape of the oval in a way to fit.
Okay, very good. And I suppose the other question, just to follow on, is not specifically related to the oval, but with a rapid increase in population and participants in cricket and football, etc., are the other amenities, being the club rooms, going to be able to cope with the additional people? Is that going to cause challenges?
I was only arguing for one thing tonight. All clubs would like to enhance their facilities. I know that there is issues there with change rooms in the current facility. There are not enough, particularly the netballers. They don't really have any change room facilities there. Women's cricket, we're sharing, and that's not ideal. Yeah.
So it's another issue, but something that comes into the equation.
Correct.
Thanks, Councillor. Councillor Nichols.
Thank you for your presentation. Does either of the club have the ability to put volunteer hours into any part of that getting that oval there? Because we've had an oval done recently and it was totally done by volunteers. So I'm just wondering what your volunteer capacity is.
Yes, I think within both the cricket and the football club, there's lots of people that have trade background or qualifications in construction, earth moving. I have presented tonight a quote that we have received for the second oval. I think that would be part of your papers. I did present it. It's not as expensive as what you would think to do it, and I think that quote is a mates rate quote. They have an involvement within the club. Their children are there. We have lots of people within the club that have the ability to provide in-kind support.
Thanks, Councillor Nichols. We have Councillor Weeding and then Councillor Rodder with questions.
It says here that the Golgol Cricket Club pay for training space in Mildura, and they've already paid $10,000 for upgrades. What are they actually paying for the training space, and what did the $10,000? Is that all in one payment, or is that?
There was one payment a few years ago to upgrade the centre wicket area, so we had to re-level it. So it was a cut and fill re-turf to the centre wicket. It had risen up over the years, and so it had a hump that you had to run up onto to play. So we cut that off, re-turfed it. MRCC weren't contributing to it, so it was up to us to fund that if we wanted to improve the surface there, which was necessary for playing conditions to improve the surface. So that's what it was spent on.
Thank you. Councillor Rodder.
So in regards to capacity, so I'd like you just to give a bit of a brief overview of the cricket net development at the Carramar Oval and how the groups involved in that reserve were able to find cost savings, which resulted in an overflow of money, which allowed the clubs to install an electronic scoreboard at the grounds.
Yeah. So we put applications in for funding, as you know, and council did assist with that as well as other New South Wales government bodies. We project manage it ourselves, as in a couple of the members of the committee, myself and a few others, completely volunteer basis. and we engaged all the contractors directly. There were no consultants, there were no subcontractors as such. We were direct. We achieved it under budget in time, before time. We had some discussions with Cricket New South Wales as to whether they would underwrite the project because we weren't sure if we would have enough funding. They indicated to me that if they underwrote the project, the facility would not be to the size and scale that it currently is now and would have cost another 40%. So we did it ourselves, all through volunteers. We only paid where people had direct expenses.
So I think everybody at the table would agree it's an outstanding result. So just in regards to the impending movement of the Imperials Football Club across to number 3, do you anticipate that will cause any restrictions on the oval use by the cricket club?
They want to do their pre-season training there when we are trying to play games. There's no doubt about it. So we had that last year, trying to keep football players off the centre wicket with stops, running across there on their boots. The curator had a few heart attacks through the year. It's a problem.
Yeah.
We're obviously a New South Wales club using a Victorian facility. That is of concern to us longer term.
Currently, the Imperials hope to be at number 3 by April.
Yeah.
So how does that fit with your timelines?
We need a ground quickly.
Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Thank you very much. Any further questions? Let's have a quick one. Obviously, we've got competing interests in that piece of land with residential development and the need for engineering works there to handle drainage, etc. And the drawing we've got in front of us has the potential oval pushed right up against the western and southern boundaries of the land. Is there any potential to move the wicket in the main oval to be able to smudge the shapes around a bit better to so you've still got road access?
Yeah, not really. It's an expensive exercise to move that centre wicket. If you pushed it one way, yes, you could redesign for cricket. It wouldn't suit football. They would want it in the middle. It is something you do, then you would be doing 2 centre wickets. And I guess it comes down to funding, really, at the end of the day, if you're trying to push. Because like I said, we do bring the rope in, so when we're playing senior cricket, there's probably 20 metres from the rope to the boundary seating that's there at the moment. If you pushed it one way, you could do that. I don't know that you necessarily need to. You just have a smaller oval. I appreciate that it does push up against the boundary. There is the drainage pipelines that go along there. I note that they need to be upgraded. The centre wicket pitches on a second oval wouldn't be near where they are, so those works could be done at some stage down the track. You just dig up the outfield, do what you have to, and then remediate the site afterwards. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. No further questions? It was a long 3 minutes, David. Thank you. Councillor Crisp.
Mr Mayor, I move that ordinary council meeting be reconvened.
Is the motion seconded? Thank you, Councillor Armstrong. All in favour? We'll move to item 6 on the agenda, outstanding matters from previous meetings. There's a report attached for noting. Would someone like to move? Councillor Starrick. Seconder, Councillor Rodder. Any level of discussion? Councillor Starrick.
I just want to acknowledge the addition of the report after the meeting last month and just thank the General Manager and the staff for their work on that.
Great outcome. Thank you. Any further discussion? Those in favour of the motion? Thank you. That's carried unanimously. We'll move on to item 7.1. I move my mayoral report with the addition of a meeting on 10 September with Transport for New South Wales for the purpose of discussing Far West Strategic Regional Integrated Transport Plan. Seek a seconder. Thank you, Councillor Rodder. Any questions? Councillor Nichols.
27th of August, you had a meeting with the RZ Resources Japanese delegation. Their purpose and interest?
Yeah, certainly. So, members of the RZ board and senior management have visited a few times this year in terms of progressing their COPI site application. On this occasion, they brought out quite an expanded delegation of Japanese representatives, both of the company who they've signed agreements with, but also some of their offtake or proposed offtake agreements for the actual minerals. So, yeah, that was really to facilitate them visiting the site and having a bit better idea of what they're potentially investing in. And we obviously met with them simply to be hospitable and welcoming investment in our shire. Any further questions? Councillor Rodham.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So just in regards to the Trail of Lights from FOSO briefing, we saw some media around that, but it would be good to have a bit of an update directly from someone sitting at the table.
Certainly. So sods have been turned. Civil works have commenced on the project site at adjacent to Perry Sandhills. So, as you know, that contract was awarded last month, and works have commenced. So the timeframes that we've previously discussed are still the timeframes as of now. The studio's booked in to arrive in February 2026, which assumes that all the civil and preparatory works have been completed by then, with an opening time of April 2026.
Very exciting times.
Very exciting. Councillor Beaumont.
Oh, look, I was going to make mention I express my gratitude actually in being able to participate in the Baronga landfill site for Mill on the 15th. It's one thing to sit around the council table and look at budgets and budget variations and contracts and that sort of thing, but to be actually able to go and have a look at the project itself and seeing the work that's occurring gives you a greater appreciation of everything that's involved. So very well worthwhile, I thought.
Looking at big holes in the ground, who knew it was so exciting?
Well, there was a bit more than big holes in the ground. Lots of buildings and roadways.
Indeed.
Very good.
Thank you. Anything further? Those in favour of accepting the report? Thank you. That's carried. Rightio. Item 8.1, reports from committees. Could I have a mover? Councillor Starrick, second to Councillor Beaumont. Does anyone wish to speak to the report? Councillor Starrick.
I just wanted to bring to Council's attention in the ARIC report, item 7.4, under the internal audit quarterly update. The audit committee had suggested the internal audit consider a wider scope, particularly in regards to considering a pricing review and a couple of other items, and that was specifically called out. So I just want to draw your councillors' attention to those items so that you're aware that the committee is engaging with staff and with the internal audit team and looking at that scrutiny and that analysis.
Thank you, Councillor Starrick. Any further comments or queries? Those in favour of accepting the report? Thank you, that's carried. We move to item 9.1, General Manager's Report. I have a mover, Councillor Rodda, seconder, Councillor Crisp. Are there any questions? Councillor Nichols.
Probably more a comment on the second item point there, where the council's won statewide award. I think it needs highlighting, probably more publicity than it's got, and congratulations to those concerned. Report.
Yeah. Any further comments? Councillor Rodda.
In regards to the council circular model meeting code, so there's a number of aspects of the change in the model code of meeting practice, which I don't believe are reflective of the composition of our council when you've got younger people who are employed. Some of the restrictions on that new model code, I think that council should consider writing to the minister and highlighting some of the consequences of the new model code of meeting practice. And hopefully there'll be other councillors who are in a similar situation that support further changes to that code. If we don't say anything about the impact that it's having on our council in particular, then it will be assumed that we're happy with it, when clearly some of the changes in that code disadvantage younger councillors who have employment.
Thanks, Councillor Otter. Are you moving an amendment, or would you like the General Manager to respond to the comment?
I'd like the General Manager to respond.
Yeah, tomorrow I'll be part of an online session for which other councils and general managers will be talking to Brett Whitworth from the OLG in relation to this aspect and how it's sort of been mandated, and there was consultation and now we've got the draft code. So, and in terms of our timing, the information gained out of that session will be brought forward as part of the next report into council at the October meeting of council, where I'll seek endorsement of the actual draft document. So tomorrow's information session may glean some subject into your question. It may give me better preparedness for there's mandatory positions and provisions and there's local provisions. So some aspects, while we're reading it black and white, and this is take it or leave it, it's not necessarily like that. There is going to be some mandatory provisions which you don't argue with, and there'll be some local provisions. So I don't mind which way. It's for me, it's about timing. It's about more information available literally tomorrow, and then to meet the guidelines, or it's going to be implemented by 1 January, but I've got to work backwards and get it adopted in December. So the answer is I'll ask questions tomorrow. And further that, if you see the need to resolve at a council level, that we write to the minister to share the frustration of the particular aspects, one being the online representation. Happy enough to be part of that. But yeah, for me, I was wishing I'd be having this discussion tomorrow night rather than tonight, based on what might be unfolded tomorrow.
Are we able to get an update on the outcome of those discussions at the meeting prior to next?
Yeah, I'll tomorrow I'll have Deb Zorsey from Governance, and I don't know whether I invited you. But anyway, yeah, we'll have other officers available to and we'll get a briefing out to you based on the information gleaned. Yep.
Thank you.
And perhaps just to add to the General Manager's comments, if you've got very specific questions that you want raised or discussed, maybe get them emailed through tonight, given the the close timing of the meeting.
Yeah, 10 o'clock in the morning, that meeting.
Thank you. Councillor Nichols.
On page 75, on the first section, well, I meant to council, under section 361 of the Local Government Act 1993, before adopting, we have to code of meeting practice for at least 28, it must exhibit for 28 days, provide members of the community at least 42 days in which to comment. So there's plenty of time there if the community have any problems, or if we have any problems, to comment on that, because the decisions really aren't going to be made. They've got to be made before the 31st December. So there is a significant amount of time there that people have the opportunity to.
I'm working backwards. The council meeting in December is the final opportunity for adoption. So 42 days back from that, sort of, so reported into October, consultation, 42 days, give consideration to those matters raised, and then seek council's adoption on the 16th of December or something like that.
When will it go out to community for the...
Straight after the October meeting. when you endorse it for public.
The draft. Once we endorse the draft.
And they've got at least 42 days, okay.
So it'll go halfway through October, all of November and a bit of December will give you 42 days.
Thanks, Councillor Nichols. Councillor Evans.
Mr Mayor, I concur with comments that have been made. Councillor Rodder and Councillor Nichols. I'd just like to bring awareness to the fact that I'm slightly concerned. There are some grey areas there. I don't know. I think as councillors we like to be informed, and I think there's this tends to create some grey areas that I don't quite see where that sentiment is taking us. The grey areas to me are debate in the chamber. How do we manage debate in the chamber? I know there's rules, regulations, there's ways to go about that, but I think it's simply information, I think, and being informed to arrive at a place of a council meeting and be informed on the issues at hand so that we can make informed decisions also. And I do see that some of these rules, if you like, that are being placed in that will put some of us in a difficult situation regarding that information to be raised at council meetings. I think that's the thought. My thoughts are that perhaps it's going to require more information coming through, and information coming through from mayor general managers and finance officers, that in a form that we can gather that information, so when we do meet we have informed ways of making those decisions.
Mm.
I think there's some things there that are shutting down that information flow. Thank you.
Well, I'll just make the same comment I made to Councillor Rodder. I think really timely, if you've got specific concerns that you want the General Manager to raise in his discussion tomorrow, if it's possible, get them through tonight. Obviously, there's still the consultation period, but really you'd like these things addressed before the draft that we adopt in October. So thank you. Now, I think I'll come to you, Councillor Rodder, but were you in the queue, Councillor Beaumont?
Oh,
No?
yes, but I'm happy to wait.
Councillor Rodder?
I think some of the changes in the code of meeting practice, I just have to say, have taken us back to the last century. They're absolutely ludicrous. It actually stifles debate.
Any specific you'd like to mention?
Your Worship.
It's like that 40 years ago. So
Oh, well, yeah, that's right.
40 years ago it was like
Yeah.
that.
Take that as a comment. Thank you. Councillor Beaumont.
Mine was very minor, just in the list of events on page 64, the date for the Wentworth Regional Tourism meeting is the 10th of November, not the 3rd, and that will be the AGM as well.
And there's an annual general meeting for the Australian Inland Botanic Gardens to add to that list also. Do you have the date handy, Jodie?
The one on the 11th of November.
No, there's another one. So there's the general meeting and then there's the AGM, which is the 20th of November will be the AGM for the Australian Inland Botanic Gardens, in addition to the meeting on the 11th.
Okay, we'll have that added.
Post the next meeting is,
Okay, any further questions on the item under discussion? No, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Thank you, that's carried unanimously. Okay, item 9.2, council meeting dates and times.
Mr Mayor,
Councillor Crisp.
I move that recommendations 1, 2 and 3 be as written, And recommendation number 4 to read that pre-February 2025 meetings start at 5 p.m. Post-February 2025, the meetings start at 4 p.m. This is to take into account some changes relating to code of conduct that we have been discussing previously.
Sorry, did you mean 2026?
2026, you are quite correct. Thank you. Whoops.
Okay. So, seconder.
Just before we second that motion, so Councillor Chris moved that items 1, 2 and 3 be moved as written. Item 1 actually requires a day to be determined. The reading of it is just held on a day to be determined, months excluding June. So it requires a day. It also says, item 2 says the May and June 2025 meeting. That should read 2026. So I would move with Councillor Chris that item 1 be held on a Wednesday in all months excluding June. The May and June 2026 meeting will be held on the selected day in each month. Is that
The third Wednesday, is it?
third Wednesday as well? Or do we need to? Are they the ones we need to move?
No, they're the ones we need to move to allow for the exhibition and the operation plan and adopted budget.
So that's we move it to on a day selected later. Yes.
We can select, usually we bring the May one forward, so it happens on the second Tuesday,
The second
Wednesday,
second
sorry,
Wednesday for
Push June.
for May, and then
May.
June one goes to the fourth.
So in light of that, sorry, Councillor Crisp. So item 1, that the council meetings will be held on a Wednesday, and all months, and the third Wednesday on all months excluding May and June. The May meeting in 2026 will be held on the second Wednesday of May, and the June 2026 meeting will be held on the fourth Wednesday of the month, and that the January meeting will not be held. And I would move that all. I'm happy with Councillor Crisp's comment on timing of the meeting. Just to tidy up Councillor Crisp's motion.
Yeah, no, I understand. So we're still on the motion moved by Councillor Crisp. We're just tidying that up, and then we'll seek a second once.
I'm happy. I consent to the changes proposed.
Sorry, Ebony, what do you need? You're right.
I just want to ask a question.
Councillor Nichols.
The question I want to ask is, by going from 5 o'clock to 4 o'clock, is that going to suit those young people who work?
Well, we already would come for a briefing that we wonder like we haven't got a new code of conduct.
No decisions are made at briefings. Decisions are only made at council
No,
meetings.
but we already attend a briefing.
What he's saying is we already show up at 4 o'clock.
Yes, I know.
and-
Yes, I know that. But the same thing. So it's not going to make any difference to people who work.
No.
Okay, that's fine. I have no problem with the motion.
Okay. Just going to wait and give a bit of time to tidy up. the
Sorry,
motion,
Ebony.
And then we know exactly
Councillor
what
Crisp,
we're voting on.
Yeah, you got me.
At 4 p.m. I was 4 p.m. Yeah, Ebony, thank you.
From February.
From February.
So those dates were nominated on page 87. So the May meeting will be on the 13th and the June meeting will be on the 24th.
Okay, beautiful work. So we have a motion from Councillor Crisp. Is that motion seconded?
Second that.
Councillor Armstrong. Does anyone wish to speak for? Against? All those in favour? Okay, carried unanimously. Thank you. All right, moving on to, this is a great motion. Given recent information from the MDA that up to in excess of 80% of the biomass in our rivers is now carp, and that there's a mechanism to reduce that to allow native fish stocks to replenish. What a great motion. In principle, support for the implementation of the National Carp Control Plan and its recommendations. There is a recommendation there. Does somebody wish to move a motion? Councillor Evans.
I'll move it.
Thank you. Is the motion seconded? Councillor Rodder. Does anyone wish to speak for the motion?
I'll speak for it.
Councillor Evans.
Mr. Mayor, I'd just like to give a brief overview of my own experiences, I guess, in being number one. been of interest to me for many years. I've lived on the river and in our river environment. Been working on it for 50 years, and very sadly in the 1960s I remember the introduction of carp in the Mildura region area, and when they took control of our river system very quickly. I've followed this biocontrol for carp has been perhaps a more recent development, but it has, I see, been done with some scepticism, I guess, in the community, because it is. We always get alarm bells when we hear biocontrol. We don't have to be. I think it's extremely serious that we've had to take this route in this process. But given that, particularly floods through the years, the broad and large numbers of carp now exist through our river system, I see we have a huge, perhaps one of our greatest disasters happening, and that is our water quality is declining at a rapid rate. And in the 50 years or more that I've been associated with the river, firstly on an irrigation property in the area, and then working on the river and in my role as riverboat operator, it's certainly proven sad in recent times. We're getting to the point now where it's not even acceptable at some point in time that we can have a shower in the water straight from the river. We used to drink from it. So I think we've come to a point where we need to act. We won't survive without good quality water, and if this is one of the main generators of poor water quality, then it needs to be addressed. There's always room for more work to be done on this, but I think the time's come when decisions have to be made, that we either move forward with this, we have another high river in years to come. The river's virtually going to be difficult to control in terms of its water quality. So I see that given that there's still a period of time of 2 years for ministerial approval for this type of action, I'd be supporting moving forward. There's still plenty to be researched, but over the 10 years or more that I've been following this program, there's been a lot of work done, and there will always be the concern of implementing a biocontrol. But if we come up with a better idea, let's do it. But I don't think we have yet, and we need good water. It's a national disaster. We have 1/7 or 14% of Australia's landmass now full of carp, and that is the catchment area of the Murray-Darling.
It's not like it's a new idea.
No. So thanks for the opportunity to make a comment.
Thanks, Councillor Evans. Would anyone wish to speak against the motion? Councillor Beaumont.
Yeah, I'd like to speak against the motion. I respect the views of Councillor Evans and what he's had to say, and agree with certainly significant parts of what he's had to say in relation to the effect that carp are having on the river. But the proliferation of carp within our Murray-Darling waterways is a matter of significant concern and an issue which raises a lot of community alarm. Carp have an undeniable effect on our waterways and native fish species. Like most people, I'd like to be rid of this introduced species. However, I have some concerns with the motion that seeks an urgent call for the federal government to fund and implement a national carp control plan. So whilst reading this documentation and giving it due consideration, I conducted a bit more research of my own and have attempted additional research on the Cyprinid herpivires 3 or carp virus as it's commonly known. There are divided opinions amongst scientists across the globe in relation to the efficacy of the carp virus. Dr. Lighton of the University of Exeter states that viral biocontrol is highly questionable and unlikely to reduce carp numbers in the long term. Carp apparently have the ability to sustain this sort of viral attack, create immunity, and rebound very quickly in terms of population growth. She goes on to suggest it's madness madness that a highly pathogenic virus is being considered as one of the first steps to restore a damaged and fragile ecosystem, such as the Murray-Darling. I've come up with a few dot points after reading the National Carp Control Plan report and from my own research. And I'll give you those and I'll be as quick as I can, but they're in dot point form. Although it's claimed the virus is carp specific and not zoonotic, it is not absolutely conclusive that it is not transmissible to other species. In fact, redfin or European perch, which are found in Australia, are listed as potential carriers. Amphipods, which are a small crustacean found in Australian waterways, are identified as non-fish carriers of the virus. Now, they wouldn't have it at the moment because the virus doesn't exist in Australia, but if it was, they will be carriers. The virus is active within a water temperature range of 16 to 28 degrees Celsius. This would possibly have fish kills coincide with the seasons in which our regions enjoy water sport activities. As a region, Sunraysia and Darling Outback attracts large numbers of visitors who enjoy river activities. Swimming, skiing, fishing, camping and other activities, these may be less attractive following a viral release and subsequent fish kills. So how do we clean up the resultant fish kill? Large fish kills will affect water quality and potentially water usage. Slow-moving rivers will be particularly susceptible to dead and rotting biomass of carcasses. Wentworth, being at the confluence of the Murray and Darling rivers, may see a convergence of dead and decaying carp. The Shire has several river communities which all draw their drinking water and household water from the river system. What impact will the resultant fish kills have on our drinking water? Even if deemed safe for human consumption, individual perceptions could be quite the opposite, causing community unrest and the situation for the Shire to deal with. And we only have to think back to the water events recently and the major fish kills and the stench and the community outcry of the quality of water at that period of time. The media and news reporting of a virus release and resultant fish kills could result in significant regional reputational damage, thus impacting on our strong tourism economy. There are scientific concerns around latency, seasonal outbreaks, and the potential for an immunity-resistant development. Scientific tests have discovered individual fish that have died from the virus still carry the active virus for a further 3 days. Cyprinus herpesvirus 3 is a DNA virus which induces a disease that is notifiable under the World Organisation for Animal Health. It is not found in Australia and therefore is an exotic disease. It does not seem logical that we would introduce a foreign exotic virus to our waterways. Many countries throughout Asia and Europe who have this virus within their ecosystems and have had for several decades are desperately trying to eliminate it. This will be a particularly difficult and even divisive matter on which to vote. I believe we all would like to see a much diminished carp population within our river system, but I'm not convinced that releasing a foreign virus into our already delicate, fragile river ecosystem is the right decision or indeed a solution to our carp problem. It's for this reason that I'll be voting against supporting the implementation of the National Carp Control Plan and its recommendations at this stage. And if I can just refer to an old adage, which I was thinking about this afternoon, 2 wrongs don't make a right. The first wrong being the introduction of carp into our river system. The second being the introduction of a virus to control the carp. At the end of the day, what are we left with? A river system that still has a large population of carp and a virus and an exotic disease that is notifiable on the World Organisation for Animal Health. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Beaumont. Does anyone else wish to speak for the motion? Councillor Armstrong.
Mr. Mayor, thank you. I'll start my comment. It's a really simple statement, right? We need to release this virus, right? Hand wringers in bureaucracies in Canberra have been sitting on this for many years. It was many federal governments ago that had funded the research, had published the reports, and this virus is ready to go, right? We have seen, while the Murray-Darling Basin Plan has led to extensive improvements in water connectivity within the basin, what has also led to, as you mentioned in your opening remarks, is carp now making up 80% of the biomass in the basin, right? There is research out there now that shows a link between the improvement of connectivity under the basin plan and the spread of carp within the basin, right? European carp is having a huge impact on water quality for humans, water quality for native fish and animals, and we can't just sit back as some foreign experts would have us sit back and do nothing, right? We actually have skin in the game here, and we need to see an improvement in the environment, right? This virus has been proven to be effective, and while there are questions about the long-term efficacy, as there have been with all biocontrols for everything, in talking with staff at New South Wales Fisheries, at the Research Centre, who have been studying this for over 10 years now and how this relates with our native fisheries, and they're seeing little impact to no impact from this spreading and no concern of it spreading. Right? It's time for hand wringers in bureaucracies in Canberra to stop just sitting on their hands and actually put pen to paper and put some activity into the basin that will see carp populations diminish and river conditions improve for the environment and for human use.
Thanks, Councillor Armstrong. Would anyone like to speak against the motion? Councillor Nichols.
I'll be fairly short. Our experts and we have made numerous mistakes in the line since 2016, basically, when this happens. My problem being is that 124 pages of studies here, they're all leaning the one way. I'm going to go back, I'm old enough to remember myxomatosis. It's going to be the be-all and end-all to kill off rabbits. We still have rabbits. So I'm leaning a little bit towards what Councillor Beaumont has said as well, because we need to get rid of them. They used to blow them out of the water and everybody came in and was cruel to the fish. Various other things. So I mean, we've progressed not at all in the last 10 years. All of this, the fish have just grown and grown and grown.
Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Nichols. I would just say, by way of very brief response, that unlike myxomatosis, this is not about eradicating carp. It's about reducing their population to give space and time for the native species to replenish. But I'll leave my remarks at that. Would anyone else like to speak for the motion? Councillor Crisp.
Thank you. I rise to support Councillor Evans and Councillor Armstrong's comments. And firstly, in some of Councillor Beaumont's comments, this is not the first step in trying to control carp. Many of us will remember the electrofishing exercises to commercially harvest them. Charlie carp was a fertiliser that was used, and also they do make excellent craybait. The crayfishing industry will take them as well. These two exercises, have, much as they've been an industry, have made bugger all difference to the carp numbers. And I think the fish kill issues that Councillor Beaumont talked about are addressed in 3.6 of page 163, and similarly the process is they remove a carp from a particular area, inject the virus and put it back into that area. So in this report I find that some confidence that they're going to do this in small sections at a time in order to manage some of those issues. So, and also support the Mayor's comments, Councillor Nichols, with rabbits, that it'll be a control measure, as myxomatosis is, and then later Khaleesi. These are methods that exercise some control on the rabbits. They are nowhere near as plentiful as when I was much younger and you were much younger, Councillor Nichols. So I do concur with Councillor Armstrong. Federal government needs to get on with this. 2 years is about as long as we can wait to see a solution. So I think council should support this, just adding our small weight to the wheel that's necessary to get our rivers back in health.
Thank you, Councillor Crisp. Would anyone like to speak against the motion?
So we've gone from speaking for, speaking against, speaking for, and now you're asking speaking against again.
As is usual. Yeah.
No, you've done it twice. Anyway, look, I think
You've spoken against. Sorry, Councillor Beaumont.
Yeah,
You've
spoken for again.
You have 3 speakers.
Yeah.
I'm entitled to seek 3 speakers for and against.
I thought you would do all the for at once and then all the against at once. But anyway, that's irrelevant.
No. We alternate. Does anyone wish to speak against the motion? Sorry,
Point
Councillor.
of order, Chair. 10.21. Each councillor is entitled to 1 speech on the motion.
That's right, other than the mover. So Councillor Evans has opportunity to wrap up the debate if you wish to exercise that. If you have anything further.
I can make a closing comment if that's
Absolutely.
okay.
Councillor Evans.
I think it is always going to be fraught. The decision we're talking about here is a difficult one, but there's a couple of issues which I've crossed over during my experience in the last 10 years. I've spoken to several scientists at various conferences, and the concern we have in Australia is we are isolated, and biocontrol in Australia is quite good, but the activity of this virus can be transferred from other countries, and they are concerned that if we don't prepare, and I think what this document here does is set out a preparation. If we do get it, if we get it uncontrolled, without this scientific preparation, we're going to end up in all sorts of trouble, and this is where it will turn our rivers pretty sour. But we can also, there is still time. There's a couple of years before we get that approval, before it happens, and I think the isolation and the knowledge we have to release it in stages will prove that it's not going to be as dramatic a situation as it could be.
Mm.
So that would be my main concern. If we do nothing, we're going to end up with a river that we can't use. I think carp have an incredible ability to breed. They lay 1 million eggs per hatching.
Mm-hmm.
500,000 of those can be fully matured fish. We have a river system that is just going to be, we'll be able to walk across it on carp if we're not careful. And so let's get on with some sort of solution. And I think this is a viable one.
Thanks, Councillor Evans. And I thank everybody who's contributed to the debate on what's obviously a very important issue, but also topical. And it's clear that people have put a lot of thought into this. So thank you for that. I'm going to put the motion. Those in favour?
Don't I get the option to sum up?
No, sorry. The move. That's for the mover. Okay. So I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Motion's carried. Thank you. Okay, we'll move to item 9.4, the request for donation, RFDS Rowathon. Can I just say, fantastic event, and somewhat unusually to be requesting the funding after the event has actually happened, but that's just down to a little admin tweak. But fantastic event, including some 15 odd women and men from the North Shore Rowing Club out here in their splendid blazers. But people come from all over the country to Wentworth for this annual event. Absolutely superb. Is there a mover?
Move the recommendation of the release.
Thank you, Councillor Armstrong. Councillor Rodder,
Second.
seconding. Would anyone like to speak for the motion?
Got a question.
Yes, question.
And it says the application for this event was overlooked due to some staff being on leave. Was that our staff or theirs?
That was our staff.
Yes.
So yeah, the report details it's an unfortunate oversight, but hence the the comments in there that they shouldn't lose the opportunity for funding because of our oversight.
So given that it's post the event, were council recognised as a sponsor and supporter of that event?
Very much so.
Very good. I thought they might have, in recognition of the ongoing support council have provided.
Very, very generous praise across the board was passed on to the rowing club, to council, to the town. So, any further questions or anyone wish to speak for or against this motion? I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Councillor Rodder?
I voted for, sorry.
Thank you. Carried unanimously. Item 9.5 has been moved to confidential. We'll deal with that later. Move to item 9.6, the monthly finance report for August 2025. Councillor Evans moving as written. Councillor Starrick seconded. Are there any questions? I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Thank you. That's carried. Item 9.7, the monthly investment report for August 2025. Councillor Nichols, seconded. Councillor Armstrong. Any discussion or questions? I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Thank you. That's carried. Item 9.8, Audit Risk and Improvement Committee Annual Report. Would someone like to move the recommendation? Councillor Starrick, seconded. Councillor Weeding. Are there any questions? I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Thank you. That's carried. We'll move to item 9.9, Development Applications Determination Report for August 2025. This is a report for noting. Would someone like to move? Councillor Rodder, seconded. Councillor Crisp. Anyone wish to speak for or against the motion?
I'd just like to make a comment if I may. So, thank you
Councillor Rodder.
for including the determination report back into the council agenda. It's very helpful for councillors to keep abreast of the developmental applications with the inclusion of that report. So thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Evans.
Just looking at active days. It's a fun way of getting out there. That's just a comment.
Yep, so it's pretty well understood. We've had some resourcing challenges, you might say, in planning, and so I would expect to see that average number on the decline, and look forward to recruitment as per the org structure amendments that were adopted by Council in July. Thanks, Councillor Evans. Councillor Nichols.
The item that was refused by council, should that still be on the list? Or should we have on it?
It was a determination within that month, so in essence this captures not only delegated authority reports, it captures every decision that was.
It won't be there next month.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Nothing further. I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Thank you. That's carried. Item 9.10.
I'll move the recommendation, Mr Mayor.
Thanks, Councillor Crisp. Seconded, Councillor Armstrong. Question, Councillor Nichols.
Is it possible for an extra condition to be placed on it? It's below the legal lot side by 91.2%, and the condition I'd like on it was that be made that no further residential be permitted on this site.
Yeah,
It's for a single. It's not in here.
No,
No,
we'll structure a condition to prevent further residential development on the allotment, and in essence, it's below the minimum lot size. So subdivision wouldn't be permissible anyway. So yeah,
There's nothing in here. So it becomes number 63 because I just hate to think that all of a sudden we're going to have lots of houses come up on a freehold. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions? I'll put the motion, and given this is a planning matter, all votes for and against will be recorded as a division. Those in favour? Those against? That's carried unanimously. Item 1.11, Integrated Transport Combined Action Status Report. Thank you very much for this report, Director Young. Would someone like to move? Councillor Weeding, seconded Councillor Rodder. Is there any discussion? Questions? Councillor Armstrong.
Only out of it, I'm sure it was there. Where are we up to with Transport for New South Wales on Danton? The speed limit changes there?
Director Gunn might have an update on that.
Transport for New South Wales. Previous advice is that the high pedestrian 40k area and the resulting change from the 50 to 60k has gone through all their approval process, on which they had indicated funding for the change. For whatever reason, that hasn't come through to us yet, but our understanding is that is still on the table to come through. They have implemented the 40 kilometre an hour electronic school zone, and the resulting change for Danton still sits as an item to be confirmed for funding.
Thank you. Any further questions? Put the motion. Those in favour? Thank you. Carried. Right. Item 9.12. And just mentioned there's a grand opening of the pump track happening on the 11th of October. Called grand opening.
It'll be called a grand opening because there's been no ministers or department representative being invited. So
Okay, sorry, my bad. It's a grand community event to celebrate a fabulous achievement for council.
we can have another opening at a later stage, but we
Sure.
have to go through protocols.
Okay, thank you. That is worth noting. Would someone like to move this report? Councillor Armstrong, seconded Councillor Beaumont. Are there any questions?
Yes,
Councillor Nichols and then Councillor Beaumont.
through the finance manager over there, director, Wentworth water treatment plant. It says here that the reviewed report and associated costings. Can you tell me an idea of the increased water production of water and the cost implication, and what were the costings insofar as that didn't progress?
Which one are you looking at?
I'm looking at Wentworth Water Treatment Plant, SCADA.
SCADA.
Wentworth Treatment Review the draft report and associated costings.
280.
It's a 280 year. It's now been decided to focus on the interim increased water production at Gold Coast. In other words, you put this, it's gone off the list. So, what were the costings?
That's more of an operational issue. Councillor Nichols wouldn't know why it's been.
Director Gunn.
I take your question. I believe the following the review, and we're talking about the SCADA system, which is the telemetry and the control system that's at Wentworth Water Treatment Plant. You'll see the older plant and the older system problematic to and costly to upgrade that system with the current aging plant that's there. I believe the associated the decision is that to not then proceed with that part of the with the project following the report and the investigation, and that be focused in with the Gold Water Treatment Plant. I think that's not to say that no work will be done at the Wentworth Water Treatment Plant. I think the focus is then on the upgrade of the plant itself to a new plant system, rather than to expend or put funds into the SCADA system for the ageing infrastructure that's there.
What
control can still be obtained.
Okay, what type of costs have we had from blowouts? And I know it's failing all over the place. So what you're virtually telling me is it's better to let it go and fail and then replace the whole lot.
No. What we're talking about here is the SCADA system, which is the implementation of a communication and control system. So it still has a communication and control system. It's just an ageing system, and it's not integrated with the rest of our upgraded controls. So it's not reflective of the operation and the existing plant that's there. It's more of a communication system for faults and breakdowns and the like. We still have that, it's just in a different format.
Thanks, Councillor Nichols. Councillor Rodder.
Just a question, if I may, to Director Gunn in regards to the Pooncarie upgrade of the facilities there. Is that going to be ready and operational for the races on Saturday?
All the remaining work to be done is completed today, which is the electrical and plumbing. Tomorrow the building inspector will run through the facility for his final sign-off, ready for the races.
Fantastic.
So project essentially practical completion for the races.
What a result.
If it does. Yes.
You can get your backside trackside, Councillor Rodder. Any further questions? Councillor Weeding, then.
Just the old Wentworth Water Tower Reserve. When you say remove the asbestos, are you going to dig it all out and bury it somewhere, or just bury it, leave it there?
No, so there's been a number of site reports from Hascom, I think the company was, particularly when that was the original site for the astronomy park. It did involve surface cleanup at the time. There is some minor surface asbestos still at the site, so the works will require the removing of the minor surface asbestos that's there. The report recommends a capping of the site, so it's a surface cleanup. It's got a geofabric that covers the whole extent of the site, and then it has a 1/2 metre capping that extends over the whole site, which is then revegetated. So that methodology is recommended in the report if there's going to be no infrastructure built on it, and as the site is no longer suitable for the astronomy park, there's no infrastructure, footings, holes or anything that's essentially done on the site. So that is the recommended treatment. It also does note if at any point in time there is to be a hole for a sign or whatever it is, that all that material is treated as contaminated material and is removed in the approved manner.
And with the astronomy park, is it worthwhile looking at putting it down at Long Bridge there, where we've got our land down there now?
I think I might defer to the general manager. I think all the work done on the design and the proposal for the site is transferable to another appropriate site should that become available. So that work is still there. The designs, which I think were presented a couple of years back now, are still relevant and as I said, transferable. But to my knowledge, a secondary site or a second site hasn't been established.
I think the answer is it's a Crown Land Reserve, so it won't go on freehold land. It's got to go on Crown Land Reserve.
Okay. At the moment, yes.
The project was specifically linked to the Crown Land section beside the hospital for the improvement to that site. So that project funding is linked specifically to that site.
Thank you. Councillor Beaumont.
So just to continue that conversation, that being the case with the astronomy park, is the grant funds, which I think might have had an expiry date of June this year, are they transferable?
They have to be spent on that reserve because that was the
reserve there. So can they be spent on this remedial work that's happening?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Did you have any other questions?
Yeah, if I may. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Also to direct again, I guess, the Midway entrance upgrade, that section of the report refers to no path will be installed in between Midway and the supermarket until the adjacent land has been developed. So a potential future footpath, would that be at the expense of a developer or would it be a Shire?
From my understanding, that would be a link to the development. So as council will upgrade the path in front of the Midway Centre, and we will do some improvements to the current unsealed path in the interim period, the upgrade of the frontage.
So is there an unsealed path there at the moment?
Yeah, not formalised.
Right.
Thank you. All right. Councillor Rodder.
Just again in regards to the Midway entrance upgrade, so it says new low-level planting will be installed. So do we have any timeframes on that? Because it looks like a bit of a dog's breakfast at the moment. Is there any opportunity to do some mitigation works to tidy it up in the interim?
No to your question. I don't know the time at the moment. I'll take the question on notice and provide specific answer.
Thank you. All done. Put the motion. Those in favour? Thank you. That's carried. Item 9.13, review of internal committees. So this is what we typically do this time of the year. go through and nominate which councillors will sit on which committees. So the first, these are the internal committees. So perhaps if we just go through in order as per the table on page 3. The first one is.
That's further along.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, the
one
other
item.
No, it's
Like,
in the
Just
warrant.
there.
in there. Yep. Oh, yes, sorry.
Everyone got their reports. Okay, the first one is Floodplain Risk Management Committee, and that typically has the mayor and 3 other councillors.
3, Councillor Nichols. Haven't got page 3.
Yeah, go past 10.1.
Go back. Back further. There you are.
All right, so we need some council delegates for the Floodplain Risk Management Committee. Councillor Crisp.
Having taken Councillor Elstone's place at the last meeting of that, I have an interest in this matter. If no one else has a strong view to take that position, I said express an interest.
We haven't had one for a while, so.
Yeah, we've had one this year, I think, and obviously as our studies.
When you're away.
Yeah. As the Riverine and Overland Flood Study draws to a conclusion, I'm sure there'll be further meetings.
I'm happy to stay.
Councillor Evans. So Councillor Evans and Councillor Nichols are expressing a desire to stay. Councillor Weeding.
I'd like to volunteer to go on it.
Okay, so we've got 4 people currently. So
There's 3 councillors currently. I'm happy to drop off that to maintain the 3.
so Councillor Nichols, you'd like to stay on there.
On both, yeah.
Councillor Evans. Councillor Weeding. Yep. All right, thanks, Councillor Crick. Righto, the Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee. Councillor Starrick.
I'm happy to continue if nobody else is interested.
Thank you. It's quite a body of work, isn't it?
She loves it.
Heritage and History Advisory Committee. Currently, Councillor Nichols, Councillor Evans and Councillor Armstrong is an alternate, so we need 2 councillors and an alternate, please.
Had very few meetings, so it's.
It's about to change.
Yeah. Well, this is an opportunity to change the frequency if you so desire. Councillor Evans.
I'm happy to be. Stay with that one.
Stay with that one. Councillor Nichols. Councillor Armstrong.
I'm happy if someone else would like alternate.
Would someone else like to be alternate? Councillor Weeding.
Just on that, Mr. Mayor, given some comments from Councillor Beaumont before, I think we should set rather than a when required, that committee should have a time frame of meeting fixed to it. Given, it does, should be doing some important work for the Shire that I think, is coming back to us as a council that could be handled at that committee first with some recommendations before.
So, minimum annually, minimum biannually.
Quarterly?
I would have thought quarterly more appropriate. There is genuine interest out there amongst the community, and particularly, these people that have put up their hand to be on this committee have a genuine interest when they, put up their hand to be part of this committee. And as I said earlier, I have been questioned by at least one of them as to when there's going to be a meeting. So, there is a keen desire out there for all this committee to, meet
Yeah.
and
So
produce.
look, it could well be quarterly. I just wonder if you go to minimum quarterly, does that put a little too much burden on there?
Half-yearly.
Minimum half yearly, you can still make quarterly if you desire.
Yeah.
Minimum half yearly.
With the first to be set as ASAP.
Sure. The General Manager's Performance Review Committee, that has just had that. And that's fairly prescriptive. So as to who sits on that is a fairly standard formula. It is a mayor, deputy mayor, a councillor selected from the councillors, and a councillor selected by the general manager.
That was only at the July meeting, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's
I'd say given that the recency with which that committee has actually been appointed, I think it should stay as is.
Agree with that.
Thank you. All right, user groups. Caramar Drive Sporting Complex User Group. We have any interest in change there? As printed?
I'll try and be on time for the meetings and not 5 minutes late.
Make it look bad. The George Gordon Oval User Group. We'll need to change this one for obvious reasons. Councillor Crisp, you happy there?
Still am.
Councillor Weeding,
Yes.
we need a third.
But you've got,
You want an alternative? Or a third? What is it? Third or alternative?
Third.
Third.
Councillor Beaumont. Thank you. James King Park User Group, Councillor Rodder and Councillor Starrick.
no such thing, but yep, it's fine.
Thank you. Wentworth Showgrounds User Group, Councillor Nichols and Councillor Evans. Any changes desired there, or happy?
So it just matters. It's one of those things that they're fairly straightforward.
So Councillor Nichols is happy to stay. Councillor Evans happy to stay. Right. Wentworth Sporting Precinct User Group, Councillor Weeding and Councillor Evans.
Happy to put the hand up if someone wants to step out, but I'm happy to leave it as it is. Whatever.
Righto. Councillor Beaumont's expressed an interest in sitting on there. Does anyone want to be relieved of their duties on the Wentworth Sporting Precinct User Group?
Just make a point there, Mr Mayor, if I may. George Gordon has 3, Wentworth has 2 showgrounds, and Wentworth Sporting Precinct has 2. Is there a reason why we can't have 3? They're all same.
Just going with precedent here, but yeah.
Well, Caramar Drive has 3.
Yep.
So there's no precedent.
I think we have 3 on it.
So, Wentworth Sporting Precinct User Group, we'll add Councillor Beaumont. Pooncarie Sporting Reserve User Group, we have Councillor Rodder. Do you wish to?
No, I'd like to stay if I can.
So you'd like to stay, and
I'd like to go on that. I have a special affinity for Pooncaries.
you'd like to go on that, and you'd like to go on that. Everybody happy with that? Councillor Armstrong and Councillor Beaumont. Okay, with all those changes reflected, would somebody like to move what we've just considered? Councillor Rodder, seconded Councillor Armstrong. All those in favour? Thank you, carried. Item 9.14, review of external committees. And we see there is a table on page 5. Australian Inland Botanic Gardens. Councillor Starrick and Councillor Rodder are the current representatives. Any changes desired?
Happy to stay.
Everyone's happy. Good. Barkinji Indigenous Land Use Agreement Working Group.
Take Kim's place on that.
Mayor, Deputy Mayor. Councillor Nichols has expressed an interest.
Is there any other interest expressed? Councillor Nichols it is. Bottle Bend Reserve Land Manager, Councillor Armstrong and myself as an alternate.
Happy to stay.
Happy if required.
You'd like to be an alternate on the Bottle Bend?
Oh, if necessary, yeah.
Councillor Beaumont is the alternate. Bushfire Management Committee, Councillor Armstrong.
Happy to stay as that chair.
Okay, and an alternate, please, for that, Councillor Weeding. Club grants, that's straightforward. Country Mayors Association, that's straightforward. Community Safety Precinct Meeting. Councillor Evans, you're the alternate. Are you wishing to remain the alternate?
Yeah.
Done. Next one is straightforward. Joint Regional Planning Panel. Right, we have Councillor Crisp and Councillor Nichols. They're happy.
Been there for about 3 years and haven't been called for anything yet, so.
No, we really did. Took care of itself. Happy, Councillor Crisp. Right. The Bendy Lake Sidlam Stakeholder Advisory Group. We have Councillor Nichols and Councillor Armstrong.
Happy to stay.
Happy to stay.
Happy to stay.
And a third, if possible.
Waiting.
Interest, Councillor Weeding. Murray-Darling Association Region 4. So we have myself and Councillor Evans. Are you happy to stay, Councillor Evans? Yes. That's good, just as well, because you're off to Griffith next month. Councillor Nichols.
It's not allowed to go to Griffith again.
And
Why?
Don't let it fall over this time.
third,
In a wheelchair.
Councillor Crisp.
No, just saying out of that MDA with the skills between the three of you, do we need a fourth rep?
There's no clamour of hands going up, so we'll, he's just saying that it's three.
So just we'll leave it at 3.
All right, thank you. Public libraries, Councillor Starrick.
Sure.
Been busy in public libraries. Wentworth Regional Tourism representatives. We have Councillor Rodder and Councillor Evans as the alternate. Councillor Rodder, are you wishing to?
Happy to stay.
Yep. Councillor Evans, are you happy to remain the alternate? Is there a desire for anybody else?
Anybody else?
Which one's that for? Sorry.
That's for regional tourism. Wentworth Regional Tourism.
Councillor Weeding, alternate.
Alternate? Yeah.
Thank you. WISIG, Councillor Rodder, Councillor Armstrong.
I'm happy to
stay.
come off that.
Okay, so we're looking for a second councillor for WISIG, the Wentworth Shire Health Interagency Group.
Right?
I don't know that I know enough about the topic really, but
You probably know more than me. You probably know more than me.
Health interagency.
I think, so the first meeting I attended, I thought it would be a nice big and a cup of tea, much more powerful than that. It's a collaboration of 90 agencies. It's a really good meeting.
sounds like it. The agencies. Okay.
Councillor Beaumont, okay, thank you. Wentworth Shire Liquor Record Committee, Councillor Nichols and Councillor Weeding is currently the alternate.
I think that might be a bit of a conflict of interest.
All right. Seeking a new alternate. Councillor Armstrong. Western Division Group of Councils, okay, Mayor and Deputy, and Councillor Evans, are you still wishing to be on that committee?
Western Division.
Western Division Group of Councils, that hasn't met in a little while, just with a few obviously,
Yeah, I can stay there in case something happens.
so seeking a fourth councillor. Councillor Starrick.
Yeah, I'd be interested just because it's multiple councils.
And I think council is still awaiting advice from government in terms of the land related to. So we've captured what we need to. I'll ask somebody to move that. Councillor Rodder, seconded Councillor Nichols. Any further discussion required? I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Thank you. That's carried. Okay, we'll move to item 10, please. Item 10.1, second oval at Carraway Drive Sporting Complex. Motion. Would somebody like to move? Oh, sorry, Councillor Rodder has moved the motion. Is the motion seconded? Councillor Armstrong. And this obviously was the subject of our public forum this evening, so there's been quite a degree of discussion on it already. Does somebody wish to speak for the motion?
Your motion.
So having sat on the Carramar Drive Sporting User Group meeting since 2021, so the growth of the sport teams, both football, cricket, netball, and particularly with the expansion into the women's games, it's been highly evident that the capacity of the oval there to cope with the number of people wanting to utilise those facilities is insufficient. And although I applaud the proposal for the sporting use complex, on their land adjacent, in the interim, I think that council, this is a project which can provide some immediate relief from the overcrowding at that facility. I think the cricket and the football club have shown that they can manage a project and bring it in under budget, on time, and perform well and above what you would expect from a general run-of-the-mill community group. There's some quality people on both committees who can make this happen, and I would implore councillors to support the motion so that we can at least investigate the opportunity.
Thanks, Councillor Rodder. Does anyone wish to speak against the motion? Councillor Crisp.
Perhaps I'd like to tidy up the motion by proposing an amendment to the motion, and I'd move that council proceed to design and costing of the proposal. Now, what we've had a report done which outlines 7 of the issues. Mr. Walker, in his address, detailed around some of those issues, and in the question and answer stage, he put forward some costing figures. But I'd like to see something more concrete before we definitely go ahead with this, because there are a number of things that do need to be tightened up, and native vegetation issues there, and we've recently had some experience at the landfill. That's not an easy path to get through. So before we say we're going to do this, I'd like us to know exactly what we're going to do, how much it's going to cost, and that requires more detail than we have before us.
Mr. Mayor.
Thanks, Councillor Crisp. So you've moved an amendment which sounds, if I may be so bold, very similar to what's captured with the intent of the motion. I was a little confused myself earlier, but this motion is calling for a scope and costing of the elements that you mentioned, not actually seeking council's approval to undertake any activity.
Yeah.
Is that?
I guess probably my concern was the last clause there where we say short-term option to meet the immediate needs of the clubs. I interpreted that, although we're talking about what's above, I interpreted that to mean that we would proceed rather than perhaps look at those scope and costings, which I agree with, but then those words which meet immediate needs means to me an immediate start.
If I may.
Certainly, Councillor Rotter.
So that is the rationale behind the motion, rather than to indicate that we need to start immediately, although we did need to start about 5 to 7 years ago. It wasn't to assume that council would approve it or fund it. It was to investigate scope and cost.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. With that clarification, I'm happy to withdraw the amendment to the motion.
Thanks, Councillor Crisp. Councillor Armstrong, do you wish to speak for
Yeah, I bet I'll speak against it.
the motion?
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Mayor. As Mr. Walker highlighted in his public forum comments at the start of the meeting, and Councillor Rotter has indicated in her comments, the cricket club especially and the football club have both outgrown the current facilities that are there and available at Caramar Drive. And while we do have endorsed and are working towards a sporting master plan for Baronga and Golgol and that part of the Shire, what we see right now, and as Councillor Rotter alluded to just a moment ago, is realistically we needed to complete this work 5 to 7 years ago. The cricket club especially, as we heard from Mr. Walker, is using facilities across the river in Mildura to supplement what they need at Caramar Drive. And we do, for the betterment of the community and for the sporting clubs, the users of that facility, and for the participation of sport in general, I think we do need to come and find a short-term, almost a stopgap solution that allows for the continued growth and expansion and use by the clubs that are using the facility now. As Mr. Walker, mentioned, it's the cricket club and it's the Golgol Football Club, but it's also Moringa Football Club who are using that facility through this last year. So there is lots of use for it. There is not enough playing surface area there at the moment for use. And as you know, as there are comments in the report from staff, and I thank them for their work in this so far, that there are some technical difficulties potentially with this site, but I think it is worth having a serious look at this and investigating it seriously and putting some proper costing around it to determine if it is feasible, both from a technical point of view, whether it's feasible with the way the land has to lie and give room to stormwater drainage areas. But I do think this investigation to get us to the point where we have a much quicker solution potentially than our sporting precinct is needed to be looked at. So I'd commend the motion.
Thanks, Councillor Armstrong. Does anyone wish to speak against the motion? I have a question to the mover of the motion. It refers to both clubs being, happy with the concept of expansion as per the master plan adopted by council previously. But given your role on the Caramar user group, has the footy club given any sort of in principle support to this proposal?
Yes,
in addition to the cricket club? Okay. Any further comments, questions, speakers on this motion? Councillor Weeding.
This is more of a question. I agree that we should support the motion. In the meantime, they said they were going across to Mildura, and the footy players were using, we know that footy players and cricket pitches don't go together. And it's a long way away from Golgol, but Wentworth is here. Is it worthwhile getting him to look at coming and playing here and giving him council support that way in the interim while...
That would be a question for the cricket club, I'm assuming. So whether there's capacity at Wentworth, I know that Georgie G is probably fully committed with sporting groups there, but I don't know whether there'd be an appetite for people to travel to Wentworth for that facility, and if so, would there be a cost when they've already incurred cost and they incur cost ongoing to access number 3 Oval in Mildura? I don't know.
Good question, and perhaps you'll have opportunity at a future user group meeting to raise that as a point of discussion. All right. Thanks very much for your contributions. I'll put the motion. Those in favour of the motion? Thank you. That's carried. 10.2, item 10.2. I move my motion. Pretty straightforward motion aligning our advocacy with Mildura Rural City. And seek a seconder. Councillor Rodder. Does anyone wish to speak for the motion? Does anyone wish to speak against the motion? I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Thank you, that's carried. Okay, now we'll move to item 11. Councillor Crisp.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I move the council adjourns to the closed session and the recording of the meeting be paused and that members of the press and public be excluded from the meeting of the closed session, and that access to the correspondence reports relating to the items considered during the course of the closed session be withheld unless declassified by separate resolution.
Is the motion seconded? Thank you, Councillor Rodder. All those in favour? Thank you, that is carried. Right, we'll have a small break. Okay, to business. I'll invite the General Manager, please, to report on the outcomes of confidential business in this evening's business papers.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. In relation to closed council business this evening, there was 4 items of deliberation. In item 12.1, it was resolved that council approved the continuation of the engagement of Ms Vanessa Field to review and advise an act for council as instructed by myself in relation to disputed land acquisition matters, and authorise me as the General Manager to make payment for the services provided in the above mentioned review should these costs exceed my delegation of payment of $250,000. That be further capped in an extension of $250,000. In relation to 12.2 Baronga landfill cell capping, planting and maintenance tender, was resolved that council, in accordance with the provisions of the Local Government General Regulation 2021, accepts a tender from Oasis Unmatched Proprietary Limited and subsequently authorises the Mayor and myself as General Manager to sign the contract documentation and affix a seal for the recommended contractor to carry out all works as specified for $734,184 GST inclusive. Item 12.3 Baronga landfill expansion project. It was resolved that council approves the extension to the contract for the Baronga landfill expansion project tender number 2324/14 with Waters Excavation to the value of $668,845.93, including GST.
General Manager.
In relation to another item brought forward, being item 9.5, the Baronga Gold Sporting Master Plan land acquisition, it was resolved that council authorise me as the General Manager to investigate alternate sites within the Baronga Gold area and would satisfy the intent of the resolution of council, being that the land identified should be suitable to satisfy the intent and spirit of the master plan, and any alternate sites should exclude Crown land and any land that impinges residential development. And that concluded the deliberations in closed council this evening.
Thank you very much, General Manager. Thank you, councillors, for your attendance. The next meeting of council is October 15th at 5 p.m, and I hope everybody enjoys the Pooncarie races this Saturday. Thank you.
That'll be at Hay.